Pay attention to this security camera footage, the 15th of June, 2022. A quiet, sun-drenched suburban backyard in the heart of Beverly Hills, California. One of the most exclusive zip codes in the world. The camera belongs to the neighboring estate, owned by a world-famous Hollywood actor and his wife, and is angled just over the tall ivy-covered privacy fence. It captures a portion of the adjacent patio belonging to Sophia Vanderbilt's grand Mediterranean-style mansion. An elderly woman, frail yet still carrying an air of timeless elegance, sits in a custom motorized wheelchair. She is gently pushed by her hospice nurse, who is dressed in crisp white scrubs with a name tag that reads, Emily Carter. They pause near a wrought iron garden table shaded by vibrant bougainvillea vines and potted lemon trees. The nurse carefully pours a golden liquid from a silver thermos into a delicate crystal glass, hands it to the woman with a warm, reassuring smile. Sophia Vanderbilt, 83, sips slowly, her face lighting up with genuine pleasure as she chats animatedly about her grandchildren, the beautiful California weather, and her dreams for the future. The nurse nods attentively, laughing softly at something Sophia says, her expression one of perfect compassion and care. At first glance, it looks like a tender, heartwarming moment of companionship between a devoted caregiver and her beloved patient. The clip lasts exactly 12 seconds, then it ends. That's all it shows. A simple outdoor refreshment break in the late afternoon California sun. But this seemingly innocent footage will become the single most damning piece of evidence in one of the most shocking murder-for-profit cases Los Angeles has ever seen. Because just 2 days later, Sophia Vanderbilt will be found lifeless in her opulent bedroom. Her death initially ruled as natural causes from long-term complications of stage 4 breast cancer. Her devoted nurse will appear heartbroken, collect her final paycheck, and quietly walk away with access to millions of dollars. Sophia's grieving children will praise the nurse as a saint who gave their mother comfort, dignity, and companionship in her final years. Yet this backyard clip reveals something far darker: calculated deception, a lethal dose of poison, and the ruthless greed of a woman and her husband who masterminded the perfect fraud, until one small, overlooked camera angle brought their entire scheme crashing down in the most dramatic and public way imaginable. The 17th of June, 2022, 8:45 a.m., the sprawling Vanderbilt estate on North Beverly Drive in Beverly Hills. A 12,000-square-foot mansion with manicured gardens, a pool house, and panoramic views of the city. Emily Carter, the 52-year-old hospice nurse, who had become almost a member of the family over the past 16 years, enters the grand master bedroom. Sophia Vanderbilt lies motionless in her antique four-poster bed, silk sheets pulled up to her chest, her breathing silent. Emily calls out gently, "Mrs. Vanderbilt, Sophia, it's Emily." She places a hand on Sophia's shoulder and shakes lightly. No response. Emily presses 2 fingers to the carotid artery. Nothing. Sophia is gone. Emily's face remains perfectly composed as she dials 911, her voice trembling just enough to sound genuine and heartbroken. "I'm so sorry. My patient has passed away. Please come quickly. She was in her bed when I arrived." Paramedics from the Beverly Hills Fire Department arrived within 15 minutes, examined the body, and confirmed death. The official cause listed on the report: cardiac arrest due to complications from advanced stage 4 breast cancer. Sophia had fought the disease valiantly for 16 long, painful years. Her advanced medical directive explicitly stated no autopsy, unless there was clear evidence of foul play. None was apparent at the time. Emily immediately texts Sophia's 2 children, Alexander Vanderbilt in New York City and Victoria Vanderbilt in Miami. "We've been expecting this for some time." Alexander replies almost immediately from his office on Wall Street, "We're both in the middle of critical business deals that we absolutely cannot leave right now. Please handle all the arrangements. Make sure she's buried properly, just as she wanted. We'll fly out in about a month to visit the grave and settle everything with the estate." Victoria echoes the same sentiment. "Thank you for being there for her every single day, Emily. We trust you completely to do this right." Emily assures them she will take care of every detail with the utmost respect and care. she arranges a private, dignified funeral at the historic Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery in Los Angeles, the final resting place of Marilyn Monroe, Natalie Wood, and other legends. Sophia is laid to rest beside her late husband Robert under the shade of ancient olive trees with a peaceful view of the Hollywood Hills. Flowers from celebrities, politicians, old money families, and longtime friends fill the chapel. The service is intimate, elegant, and perfectly executed. The plan unfolds flawlessly. But to truly understand how this tragedy was orchestrated and how it eventually unraveled in the most explosive way, you must know the people at the center of it all, beginning with Sophia herself. Sophia Vanderbilt was born Sophia Harrington in 1939 in the Upper East Side of Manhattan. The only daughter of a powerful Wall Street investment banker whose clients included some of the biggest names in American industry, she grew up surrounded by wealth, culture, and high expectations, private schools, summers in Europe, debutante balls at the Plaza Hotel. In 1960, at the age of 21, she married Robert Vanderbilt, heir to one of America's most storied dynasties, the family that built railroads, shipping empires, and vast real estate holdings across the country. Robert was charming, ambitious, brilliant, and deeply in love with Sophia. Together, they became fixtures of New York and Los Angeles high society. By the 1980s, Robert had expanded the Vanderbilt fortune into luxury hotels, boutique developments, and high-profile commercial properties from Manhattan to Beverly Hills. Their combined wealth was legendary. They had 2 children, Alexander, born in 1962, and Victoria, in 1965. Sophia was the quintessential society matron, elegant, philanthropic, and devoted. She chaired galas at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, hosted charity balls at the Plaza Hotel, supported the New York City Ballet, and quietly funded scholarships for underprivileged children across the country. She raised her children with grace, discipline, and an emphasis on responsibility and giving back. But as Alexander and Victoria grew into their own powerful careers and moved away to pursue their ambitions, Sophia's world gradually shrank. Robert suffered a fatal heart attack in 2006, leaving Sophia emotionally shattered. He bequeathed the bulk of the Vanderbilt fortune to family trusts, foundations, and charitable endowments, but left Sophia $6 million in personal liquid assets. The magnificent Beverly Hills estate, valued at $1.2 million at the time, a diversified portfolio of blue-chip stocks, municipal bonds, and substantial cash reserves. That same year, Sophia received the devastating diagnosis of stage 3 breast cancer. The prognosis was not good, but she refused to surrender. She underwent aggressive chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery at the best medical centers in the country, entering remission in 2007. The cancer returned aggressively in 2009, spreading to her bones. Oncologists told her she might have a few years at best. Determined to live her remaining time with dignity and purpose, Sophia hired one of the most exclusive in-home hospice agencies in Los Angeles. That decision brought Emily Carter into her life. Emily Carter appeared to be the ideal caregiver. Born in 1970 in the San Fernando Valley, Los Angeles, she came from a working-class family and always dreamed of making a difference in people's lives. She worked 2 jobs, waitressing at a local diner and retail at a department store, to finance her nursing degree, graduating with honors in 1993 from UCLA's nursing program. Her early career was spent in the high-pressure environments of hospital ICUs and emergency rooms, where she quickly earned a reputation for staying calm under chaos and providing exceptional patient care. But by her mid-30s, the constant stress, long shifts, and emotional toll had left her completely burned out. In 2004, she transitioned to hospice care, discovering a quieter, more meaningful path where she could truly connect with patients on a personal level. Patients and families adored her gentle voice, her patience, her ability to make even the most frightened person feel seen, heard, and valued. But behind the polished, compassionate exterior, Emily harbored deep financial anxieties and growing resentment toward her own circumstances. She was married to David Carter, a 54-year-old construction foreman who had developed a severe gambling addiction over the years. They lived in a small, aging apartment in Van Nuys, constantly struggling to make ends meet. David's debts had climbed to $80,000 from underground bookies and high-interest loans from shady lenders. Late at night, Emily would confide in him about the ultra-wealthy patients she cared for. "Some of these people have millions just sitting in accounts they'll never spend," she'd say, half in jest. With Sophia Vanderbilt, the joke slowly turned into something far more dangerous and calculated. Emily was assigned to Sophia in the summer of 2006. She visited 3 times a week at first, helping with medications, monitoring symptoms, and providing emotional support during the grueling chemotherapy cycles. Sophia and Emily connected almost immediately. Sophia opened up about her glamorous past dinners at the White House, summers in the Hamptons, charity events at the Met, private audiences with world leaders. Emily listened with genuine interest, never interrupting, always asking thoughtful questions that made Sophia feel truly understood. When Sophia's cancer went into remission in 2007, their professional relationship evolved into a true friendship. They exchanged holiday cards, shared books, and talked on the phone even when Emily was no longer officially on duty. In 2009, when the cancer returned and metastasized, Sophia specifically requested Emily again. The level of care intensified dramatically. Emily came 4 or 5 days a week, sometimes staying late to read poetry, watch old classic films together, or simply sit and hold Sophia's hand during the long, painful nights. Sophia began calling her "my guardian angel." Emily never asked for extra pay. She simply showed up, day after day, year after year. Sophia's children, however, were conspicuous by their absence. Alexander Vanderbilt, 60 in 2022, was a senior partner at one of Wall Street's most prestigious law firms, specializing in multi-billion-dollar mergers and acquisitions. He earned $1.2 million a year, lived in a $12 million penthouse on Manhattan's Upper East Side with his wife and 2 teenage children, and traveled constantly for work. London, Hong Kong, Dubai. Victoria Vanderbilt, 57, was the CEO of a globally renowned luxury fashion brand based in Miami. She earned $1.8 million annually with bonuses and stock options, lived in a $15 million waterfront mansion on Star Island, and was divorced with 1 teenage daughter. Both were extraordinarily wealthy and successful, but their schedules were brutal and unrelenting. Alexander's firm was in the middle of a $50 billion tech merger that demanded 90-hour work weeks and frequent international travel. Victoria was overseeing a high-stakes global expansion while battling supply chain disruptions, activist investors, and internal boardroom politics. The lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, health anxieties, travel restrictions, and work-from-home complexities made frequent cross-country visits nearly impossible. They visited Sophia only twice a year, Christmas, when the whole family would gather at the Beverly Hills estate for a lavish holiday celebration, complete with a private chef and live music, and Sophia's birthday in the spring, when they would fly in for a long weekend of brunches and spa days. Phone calls were monthly, warm but brief. "How are you feeling today, Mom? We love you so much and think about you every day." They sent extravagant gifts, rare Herm face scarves, private spa treatments at the Beverly Hills Hotel, custom jewelry from Cartier, and wired money whenever Sophia mentioned any need. "We're completely overwhelmed with work, but Emily is taking such wonderful care of you," Alexander would always reassure her. Sophia understood their demanding lives. "They're building empires," she would tell Emily with a wistful smile. "I don't want to pull them away from their responsibilities." But deep down, it hurt. Over the course of 16 years, Alexander and Victoria made perhaps 40 visits in total. Emily Carter, more than 2,000. The disparity became impossible for Sophia to ignore, especially as her health steadily declined and loneliness set in. By 2015, the cancer had spread to Sophia's liver and lungs. Specialists estimated she had perhaps 2 years left. At 76, Sophia entered full palliative care. Emily became a daily fixture at the estate, managing complex morphine drips, assisting with gentle baths, reading aloud from Sophia's favorite Jane Austen novels, and simply sitting with her during the long, quiet afternoons. When the house felt too big and too empty, Sophia grew increasingly reflective about her legacy. She had always had a soft spot for children, especially those without families. Throughout her life, she had quietly donated millions to orphanages, children's hospitals, and adoption agencies. "I want to leave something that truly matters," she confided in Emily one evening as they watched the sunset from the terrace. "Something that helps children who have no one else to turn to." Sophia's personal liquid estate was valued at $6 million. In her original 2007 will, everything was to be divided evenly, $3 million each to Alexander and Victoria. But by late 2020, Sophia had a profound change of heart. "My children are already incredibly successful," she told her longtime attorney during a private meeting at the estate. "They don't need another $3 million each. I want to do something meaningful with at least part of it. Something that will change lives for generations." She decided to donate $4 million to an orphanage charity, ideally to fund the construction of a state-of-the-art children's center in California that would provide education, therapy, medical care, and a loving home for abandoned and at-risk kids. The remaining $2 million would be split evenly, $1 million each to Alexander and Victoria. "This isn't about punishing them," Sophia explained calmly. "It's about impact. Orphans have no safety net. I want to be their safety net." 3 independent geriatric specialists and psychiatrists evaluated Sophia and unanimously confirmed she was fully mentally competent, sharp, lucid, and free of any cognitive impairment. The updated will was signed in November 2020 and kept confidential at Sophia's request. She chose not to tell her children yet. "I want them to focus on their lives," she said. "I'll handle the donation myself before I go." Time passed slowly. Sophia's condition stabilized somewhat with aggressive pain management. But by early 2022, at 83, she was bedridden most days and depended entirely on a motorized wheelchair. For any movement around the vast estate, she began an earnest search for the perfect orphan charity. She spent hours on her iPad researching organizations, spoke with foundation directors over Zoom, and even had her attorney contact several well-known children's charities across California. Nothing felt quite right. "They're too big, too corporate," she would sigh. "I want something intimate, local, hands-on, something that feels like family." Emily Carter watched and listened carefully. She saw the $4 million sitting untouched, waiting to be given away. One quiet evening in March 2022, Emily sat with her husband David in their small Van Nuys apartment and whispered the unthinkable. "She's ready to give away $4 million to orphans. If only we could make it ours." David's eyes widened. A construction foreman with a long history of gambling debts and connections to less than reputable people, he immediately saw the potential. "What if we create our own charity?" he suggested. "Something completely fake, but completely convincing." The plan took shape quickly. David used his construction industry contacts to forge official-looking documents, incorporation papers for a nonprofit called Vanderbilt Children's Haven. Registered with the California Secretary of State, they built a professional-looking website with high-quality stock photos of smiling children, designed glossy brochures, and set up a dedicated bank account under a shell company David controlled through a trusted associate. The total cost to set everything up, just $5,000 in bribes, printing, and domain registration fees. Emily would present the fake charity to Sophia as a brand new, local initiative she had personally discovered through her hospice network. In April 2022, during one of her regular visits, Emily brought a thick folder of materials. "Mrs. Vanderbilt, I think I've found exactly what you've been looking for," she said excitedly. "A brand new children's center right here in Los Angeles. They're planning to build a beautiful home for 60 children. Education, counseling, family, style living, everything a child could need." Sophia's face lit up with joy. "Oh, Emily, how did you ever find this?" Emily smiled warmly. "One of my colleagues at the agency told me about it. They're just getting started and they're looking for a founding donor. Here's all the information. The director's name is David Thompson." David's alias. Sophia pored over the documents, called the provided hotline, David answering in a calm professional voice, and asked detailed questions. Everything checked out. Overwhelmed with happiness, Sophia authorized a wire transfer of $4 million from her investment portfolio on the 20th of April, 2022. "This is the best decision I've made in years," she told Emily tearfully. "My legacy will live on through these children." The money cleared within days. David and Emily quietly celebrated in their apartment, debts paid, a new life of luxury suddenly within reach. But there was one enormous problem. Sophia was still alive. If she ever decided to visit the center, request financial reports, or even Google the organization more deeply, the fraud would be exposed immediately. "We can't take that chance," David said one night, his voice low and serious. "She has to go quietly, naturally, before anyone suspects anything." Emily hesitated. She had genuinely grown fond of Sophia over the years, but the thought of $4 million and the life it could buy overpowered her conscience. They began researching poisons that would mimic natural heart failure. They settled on aconite, a rare plant-derived toxin that causes rapid cardiac arrest and is almost impossible to detect in standard toxicology screenings. David sourced a small pure quantity through a dark web contact for $2,000. The 15th of June, 2022, late afternoon, Sophia's Beverly Hills estate was equipped with state-of-the-art indoor security cameras in the bedroom, hallways, and main living areas, monitored 24/7 by the Hospice Agency for Patient Safety. Emily knew she could never administer the poison inside the house. "It's such a beautiful day, Mrs. Vanderbilt," she said cheerfully. "Why don't we get some fresh air and sunshine in the garden?" Sophia, though weak, brightened at the idea. "I'd love that, dear." Emily carefully wheeled her out to the private backyard patio, an area completely outside the range of any indoor cameras. She poured the apple cider juice from a silver thermos she had laced with aconite earlier that morning. "Your favorite, with a little extra honey, just how you like it," Emily said sweetly, placing the glass in Sophia's trembling hands. Sophia sipped slowly, chatting happily about her grandchildren, the new children's center, and how grateful she was for Emily's care. Within minutes, the poison began its deadly work. Nausea, dizziness, irregular heartbeat. Emily stayed by her side, holding her hand, speaking soothingly. When Sophia grew drowsy and pale, Emily wheeled her back inside, helped her into bed, tucked her in gently, and kissed her forehead. "Rest now, dear. I'll see you tomorrow." Emily left the estate for the day. That night, alone in her grand bedroom, Sophia's heart stopped. She never woke up. The next morning, Emily discovered the body. She called 911, then texted Alexander and Victoria. "I'm devastated. Your mother passed peacefully in her sleep last night. It was natural causes from the cancer." Both children were heartbroken, but unable to travel immediately. Alexander was in the final, critical phase of a $50 billion merger. Victoria was chairing an emergency board meeting in Miami. "Please take care of everything," Victoria texted. "Arrange the funeral just as she wanted. We'll fly out next month to visit her grave and go over the estate." Emily handled every detail with quiet efficiency: flowers, music, eulogies. She even took a modest caretaker's fee from the estate for her services. Meanwhile, David began discreetly withdrawing the $4 million in small increments, purchasing a $1.5 million modern mansion in the Hollywood Hills and a brand new $85,000 Porsche Cayenne. The remaining funds were laundered through fake investment accounts. The 17th of July, 2022, Alexander and Victoria arrive at Lac Sombre and Jet lagged. They visit their mother's grave at Westwood Village Memorial Park, placing white roses on the headstone. Afterward, they meet Emily at the Beverly Hills estate. "We can never thank you enough," Alexander says, hugging her tightly. "Mom always said you were her angel." Emily hands them a certified copy of the will. She updated it in 2020. Her personal estate totals $6 million. $4 million goes to Vanderbilt Children's Haven, and $1 million each to you and Victoria. Victoria nods, tears in her eyes. Mom always talked about helping orphans. We're so glad she was able to make that dream come true. They accept the distribution without hesitation, completely trusting Emily's account of events. If you ever need anything, references, help, anything, please call us. Alexander adds warmly. They return to their lives in New York and Miami, grieving but relieved that their mother's final wishes had been honored. October 2022, 3 months later. Alexander is in Los Angeles for a major legal conference. On a whim, he decides to drive past Emily's old apartment address in Van Nuys. What he sees shocks him. Emily stepping out of a gleaming new Porsche Cayenne and pulling into the driveway of a stunning $1.6 million modern mansion in the Hollywood Hills. This doesn't make sense, he whispers to himself. A hospice nurse earning perhaps $70,000 a year living like this. He takes several discreet photos and immediately calls Victoria. Something is very wrong. Emily is living an extremely luxurious lifestyle. New mansion, luxury car, everything. Victoria is stunned. Mom left her nothing in the will. This can't be a coincidence. Alexander agrees. We need to investigate, quietly at first. Alexander reaches out to his longtime friend, Detective Michael Hayes of the Los Angeles Police Department. Hayes agrees to look into the matter unofficially. Step 1. Petition the court to exhume Sophia's body for a full forensic autopsy. After presenting evidence of suspicious financial activity, a Los Angeles Superior Court judge approves the request in November 2022. The toxicology report delivers the bombshell. High levels of aconite poisoning. This was not a natural death. Detective Hayes tells Alexander, "Your mother was murdered." Investigators immediately review the estate's indoor CCTV footage from the 15th of June. Nothing overtly suspicious appears. Emily wheeling Sophia out to the patio, then wheeling her back inside 20 minutes later, hugging her gently and helping her into bed. But the backyard patio itself has no cameras. Alexander remembers the next-door neighbor, a famous Hollywood actor, and his wife. They graciously share their own outdoor security footage, which is angled over the fence and captures the patio clearly. The 12-second clip is devastating. Emily pouring the juice from the thermos, handing it to Sophia, watching her sip it slowly. Detective Hayes enhances the video. The thermos label matches known packaging for Aconite containers. "This is it," Alexander says, voice shaking. "This is the proof." In December 2022, LAPD detectives raid Emily and David's Hollywood Hills mansion. The search uncovers damning evidence. Phone records showing texts between Emily and David on the 14th of June. "Bring the special ingredient tomorrow, an orphan account cleared. $4 million is ours." Bank records reveal that Vanderbilt Children's Haven was registered on May 25, 2022, just 3 weeks before Sophia's death, and quietly dissolved shortly after the $4 million transfer. Under intense interrogation, both Emily and David confess. The fake charity, the forged documents, the poison, the murder, all their assets are seized. The mansion, the Porsche, jewelry, and the remaining $2.8 million after debts and luxury spending. Alexander and Victoria, devastated by the betrayal, but determined to honor their mother's true wishes, use their $2 million inheritance, plus the entire $4 million recovered from the fraud and seized assets, to establish the real Sophia Vanderbilt Children's Haven. In June 2023, they cut the ribbon on a beautiful state-of-the-art facility in Los Angeles that provides housing, education, therapy, medical care, and lifelong support for 60 at-risk and orphaned children. The center includes modern classrooms, therapy rooms, a large playground, and family-style living quarters. At the opening ceremony, Victoria speaks through tears. "This is what Mom always wanted. Real love, real care, real impact. Her legacy will live on through every child who walks through these doors, every life that is changed for the better." Emily Carter and David Carter are convicted of first-degree murder, fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering. They are sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The ultimate irony: They stole $4 million to build a dream life of luxury, but ended up with nothing but prison cells and ruined reputations. The neighbor's backyard security footage, played on a large screen in open court, sealed their fate forever. What appeared to the world as tender, loving care was, in reality, cold-blooded murder. A powerful, heartbreaking reminder: trust must always be earned and verified. Sophia Vanderbilt trusted the wrong angel. Her children learned the terrible truth too late, but they ensured her final dream came true in the most beautiful, genuine way possible, turning tragedy into a lasting legacy of hope for generations of children. Thanks for watching. Subscribe channel for next interesting video. Take care. Bye.